Border officials say that they are already seeing an increase in the number of migrants trying to enter the U.S. Under the about-to-expire rules put in place during the pandemic, the U.S. could immediately expel or turn away most migrants without allowing them to make asylum claims. That will change, but so will the rules for asylum seekers. Those rules will require most migrants to schedule an appointment or apply for asylum in another country that they traveled through before applying here. Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz has been talking with migrants seeking asylum in the U.S., and she's live near the border in San Isidro. Annabelle.
David and Ellen, one of the areas that we went to was right against the border wall, and behind it there were a few hundred people who were waiting to be processed by immigration officials. And as we approached that wall, almost immediately several people would reach out with their cell phones and their chargers asking us to please charge their phone. They don't have access to power supply or other needed resources.
Behind this border wall, a group of a few hundred people seeking asylum camp out to be processed by Customs and Border Protection. Cynthia is from Peru, and she's traveling alone.
Nosotros estamos muy preocupados.
She says they're worried. As single women, they are vulnerable. Families with children are understandably prioritized, she says. Still, she fears a constant threat of violence or sexual assault.
Necesitamos agua, comida, porque no nos están dando.
Food and water are also scarce. Several people will pitch in to buy one meal. It's one of many harsh realities refugees and asylum seekers experience.
Threats to their physical integrity. They are beaten, they are robbed, they are extorted. And so human rights organizations like Human Rights First have documented hundreds and hundreds of cases of abuse of asylum seekers while in Mexico as they try to enter the United States.
Human rights organizations across the border are mobilizing to document and respond to the challenges asylum seekers may experience. One concern is over what will be an expedited processing of asylum cases, which could lead to expedited removals. Nicole Ramos is the Border Rights Project Director for Al Otro Lado, a binational organization.
People will be forced into having a credible fear interview with an asylum officer directly at the port of entry, which is one of the plans that the administration has indicated it will be implementing, which means that people will not have the opportunity to have meaningful access to attorneys to consult about their claim.
Many have been forced to stay in Tijuana for weeks, months, or years.
Pero también el trabajo comunitario.
Organizations like Espacio Migrante support refugees in many languages through art, work, a shelter, and leadership empowerment. They help people find safety and stability while they wait or try to make a home here.
Now, there's a lot of dialogue on the number of refugees and people attempting to seek asylum reaching the U.S.-Mexico border. Our data journalist Grace Manthe reviewed the most available CBP data, and based on that analysis, there are increases, significant increases in some regions, but they are comparable to last year, for example, and there have been larger peaks in years past. You can find some of that data, or all of that data rather, and more context on our website at abc7.com.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel, and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.